Oh, Adam, you can't grade the Lions draft this year. The hell I can. Detroit, you got two very talented players on both sides of the ball at picks and positions I didn't believe you would be able to. That's a good thing. And I think it would be a damn shame, if this football team didn't minimum win at least 7 games. Should you be division winning 11, 12, 13 wins excited? Maybe I am wrong, but I just don't see it. You can win with Jared Goff. I'm not saying you're going to win a Super Bowl. Yes, you want Justin Herbert. Yes, you want Josh Allen. But Detroit, you can win division titles with good enough. Lions fans, let's have an open, honest conversation this morning. All right? Should you be excited about your football team? I believe so, yes. I think Brad Holmes has done a very good job bringing in talent to a football team that I could say easily, 2 off seasons ago, it was a disaster, especially post Matthew Stafford trade. The team had no talent at all, outside of an injured corner who was coming off his rookie year. It is not ideal. And here we are now with an opportunity after 2 drafts. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2 interior linemen, Derek Barnes, Jamar Jefferson. You can go down to this year's draft class. Are they proven commodities? Are they players that you know are going to work? No. Oh, Adam, you can't grade the Lions draft this year. The hell I can. You know why? It's this simple. I don't need to know what they're going to be. What were they coming out of college? Where were they on the draft boards? Where did the Lions take them? Aiden Hutchinson, number 1 consensus on most teams' draft board. You got him at number 2. Pretty damn good value, if you ask me. You trade up 20 spots essentially for a 3rd-round pick, which is unheard of. And who do you end up with? Arguably the number 1 wide receiver in the draft class at pick number 12, when the wide receivers were flying off the board. Drake London at 7. Garrett Wilson at 10. Chris Olave at 11. And you snag Jameson Williams at number 12. Yes, I can't tell you if by week 10 they're going to be this phenomenal football player. No, I can't. But I can tell you that Detroit, you got 2 very talented players on both sides of the ball at picks and positions I didn't believe you would be able to. That's a good thing. You can go to Josh Pascal from a kid out of Kentucky, who really helped change that program. Are they a football program now? No, you have to win. But, hey, they're much better than what they were years and years ago. It was a big part of it. They're doing a great job there over at Kentucky. But beyond the point, you get Kirby Joseph at 97. A lot of people didn't expect him to be there, but he was there. And now you've addressed 4 positions of need. 4 positions of need. And, again, you're adding talent to this football team. So, yeah, you should be excited, ladies and gentlemen. You should be excited. Now, should you be division winning 11, 12, 13 wins excited? Maybe I am wrong, but I just don't see it. And I think it would be a damn shame if this football team didn't minimum win at least 7 games. Given I believe they have taken a step forward in terms of talent, I do believe that a full year with Dan Campbell, not only with Dan Campbell, but a full year not only with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, you are going to have guys, how do I explain this without sounding too optimistic? Let me put it this way, guys. No bullshit. Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell worked wonders with the same roster, if not a more depleted roster on offense last year than Anthony Lynn did, with the full roster available to him to start the year. Now, are they going to be world beaters? Probably not. Is Jameson Williams going to come into week 4, week 5, and just take the top off of defenses right away? We've seen it happen before with wide receivers. I wouldn't bet my money on it. I want to know what you guys think. And I'm not going to tell you to adjust your expectations unless you truly, truly believe this is a division-winning team. If you believe that, I would caution you, and I would put my arm around your shoulder, and I'd say, hey, man, hear me out. Not this year. Now, could it happen? Absolutely. In the NFL, let's be real, anything can happen. And you don't ever want to put yourself in a position where you're sitting there thinking, hey, you know what? Not only do I think they can win 8, 9, 10 games, I think they can win the division. I wouldn't do that in a year 2 where if this was Dan Campbell's year 1 and next year was his year 2, I would say you could win the division in year 2. I would. Because the talent, there's a lot of talent now, and next year will be another year. But where they were last year to where they are this year is head and shoulders. I just don't think that's good enough to consistently win 11, 12 football games. And again, you still have to prove you can beat the Packers, have to prove you can beat the Vikings. A lot of games on the schedule, but we'll take our first caller of the day. Fish, who do we got?
All right, we have Max from Denver, Colorado.
Max
he is here
from
to talk
Denver.
Lions. He
All
is
right.
on the airwaves.
All right, Max, good morning. You're on the morning show, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, so I saw the tweet about, like, what do you think is going to happen with Jared Goff, or what do we think Jared Goff is about? And I think that Jared Goff is a good enough quarterback, and I think that he'll do all right for the Lions this year. But I think that the reason why we're probably not going to see him after this year or after we draft a new quarterback next year, if that's where we end up going, is because he's not the same type of football player that everyone else we're trying to get is. Like, everyone we've drafted has been this hardcore, quote-unquote, gritty, play football 100% of the time. I don't want to be off the field. I want to be given my 100% in training or in a game right now. Don't have me doing this interview like Jameson Williams. He was sort of showing, like, I'm not really happy with this interview in some random-ass studio. 3 days later, we see him in an interview with a football in his hand on the practice field, and he's like, man, I love being here. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, look, you know, it's all good, Max.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Look, I'll tell you this. I think it's premature to move off of Jared Goff at the end of the year unless there are 2 scenarios that work out. One, they're able to trade up in the draft and get the guy they want regardless of their record. Or B, he plays like butt cheeks this year. And then you move off and you don't have to trade up because you're going to have a top pick anyways. So there is a scenario for me where he can move off at the end of the year. I still think Brad Holmes sees this guy as the starter for the next 2 years.
I think that 2 years is likely if we go and draft a new quarterback and by the end of training camp or whatever, they aren't blowing us away and we think, all right, let's give him another year to sit under, have him play in some of the smaller games, get a little experience, sort of like they're doing with Trey Lance right now. But I don't think that Jared Goff has a long-term say, even if he plays like incredibly well and has us competing for the division this year, which is unlikely, or like getting the division next year. I think even if we win the division, he's just not the same character fit that the rest of the team is, and that the team really just wants some hardcore dog who's going to constantly just be throwing himself in the game and trying to get us like past the sticks like Josh Allen to make the play. And I just don't see Jared Goff doing that. Nothing against him. I just don't think it's his play style or his
Me personally,
mentality
Max, I don't look too much into that. For me, what I want from a quarterback is, can you make the throws when I need you to make them? Are you a leader of men? Is Jared Goff all of that and a bag of nuts? Probably not. I don't believe he's a franchise quarterback. I don't believe anybody in this town believes he's a franchise quarterback. So there is already subconsciously building a, hey, you know what, we are eventually going to move off this guy, which makes it a little easier for me to tolerate him if he doesn't play exceptionally well. So I would agree with you. This team will need a franchise quarterback in the future. I appreciate the call, Max. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So, that's just one part and one instance of Jared Goff, and I respect it. Again, yeah, I don't need any of you to like Jared Goff. I don't. I don't care. That's the bridge quarterback. I know I'm moving off of him, so why the hell do I care? When I'm ready, I'll make the move for a quarterback. And Zach brought up an interesting point. Zach said that the problem with Goff, it's not that he's not good enough. The problem is that good enough is acceptable or it's fine, but Jared Goff is making too much money. But Zach, what I would say to that is you using Mariota, Trubisky, and Bridgewater as the group to put Goff in, I think is incorrect. Goff falls under the category of hell, to be honest with you, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill. That's the group. And if you want to throw Jimmy G in there, fine, but I'm just saying Jimmy G is a winning quarterback, much more successful than any of the quarterbacks I just named. But beyond the point, these are guys that are good enough, right? You can win football games with them. You could definitely win football games with these guys. But they're not carrying your franchise. And yes, you're paying them all $30+ million. Tannehill, Cousins, Jimmy G, Dak Prescott. You're paying all these guys. And they are just good enough. We don't even talk about Dak. Dak is just a good enough quarterback right now. He hasn't proven that without an excellent run game, excellent offensive line, that he can carry your team above water. These are the good enough quarterbacks. Yes, you want Justin Herbert. Yes, you want Josh Allen. But Detroit, you can win division titles with good enough. You can win playoff games with good enough. How? You compensate it with talent and coaching. You can win with Jared Goff. I'm not saying you're going to win a Super Bowl. But don't sit here and talk to me about a Super Bowl when you're a franchise that in 58 years has one playoff game. Or, one playoff win. You can't tell me that. You can kiss my ass. You can't tell me Super Bowl or bust expectations. Kiss my ass. You are not allowed to have that expectation at all. You start with winning the division. Building blocks here. Win the division, contend consistently, win playoff games. How about you host a playoff game, dare I say, Jesus Christ. We actually host a playoff game in this town. Start there. And then we talk about Super Bowl expectations. Buffalo earned the right to have Super Bowl or bust expectations. They won their division for multiple years in a row. They've been contending. They've been growing under Josh Allen. They've won playoff games. They've lost heartbreaking playoff games. You don't get it all instantly. And there's no rookie quarterback last year, this year, or next year that you would put into this team this year that would make you a Super Bowl contender. So shut the hell up.